Welcome. My name's Gloria again, and welcome to the Vision Q&A. Well, it is 2024, and I have been improving eyesight since 1978. So it's now officially, is it 46 years that I've been doing this work. And it gets more fun every year, mainly because it gets easier every year because I understand what I'm doing more every year. And it's faster to get results and easier to get results. But this techniques have usually captured my attention for a long time. My vision was perfect until I went to college. And then after the first year in college, I noticed that the signs were blurry in the distance. So I went to a doctor, an optometrist, and he gave me glasses. That doesn't make any sense. I had perfect sight for 18 years. I'm doing something different, but I don't know what I'm doing different. But my vision's not as good. So tell me what I'm doing wrong that's making my vision get worse so that I can reverse it. And he made no attempt to do that. He just basically said, here's a crutch you can wear the rest of your life, and it's only going to get worse. And there isn't a cure. I think the vision, it's just it doesn't make sense to me because I know I had perfect sight up until a year or so before that, because I had had a driver's license test when I was 18 and it was perfect and it was easy to see. And somewhere in that year, my vision had dropped down. But if it can change, I knew it was changeable, obviously, but I didn't know what I was doing wrong. So that put me on a quest to find out how to restore my vision. And one thing led to another. And the teacher that I was taking training from offered a teacher training course. And then I was getting ready to get married at that time to a man who was also taking vision lessons from her. And he said, take that course so you can help me with my vision. And I said, okay, well, how that goes. So I took the course, and then I got really hooked because once I started taking on clients, it is really fulfilling when you can see people's vision change. It changes a lot of things in their lives. It gives them such a sense of empowerment that, oh, I'm not this victim of, my vision's dropping and I have no control over what's happening. And so anyway, that's was a long time ago, and here I am. So at this point, if you're, what I'm going to focus on tonight is nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism. I do work with other types of vision problems, but those are my primary focus tonight, to give that, just to talk about how to improve those types of vision problems. And so I'm going to do a short intro, and then I'll open it up for questions. And that's basically the format. It's pretty straightforward. So what does it take to improve vision? I think the most important thing to understand is that vision is 9/10 mental and 1/10 physical. And by that, I mean, what tells your eyes to focus? How do they know to focus? If you bring your attention to something close, somehow they adjust their focus. If you bring your attention to something far away, somehow they know to adjust shape to focus. What is the initiating cause of the eye changing shape to focus from one distance to another? And I think think about it, the eyeball doesn't have anything in its makeup that allows it to make a decision as to where to focus. It has to focus where the mental attention is at any moment in time. So as soon as the attention shifts from one thing to another, that's what sends a command through the nerves to the muscles to change the shape of the eye, to focus you at whatever distance the mind's attention is at that moment. And this is like a basic understanding about vision. Vision is 9/10 mental. I had a client one time who had brought her vision back a little bit. She'd worked with me a little bit from, she brought it up from minus 7.5 to -5. When she went back to see her optometrist, he said, oh, yeah, your vision's prescription now would be -5. And she said, well, last time it was 7.5. And he looked at the record and said, yeah, that's true. He said, well, maybe he starts making excuses. Well, maybe some of that, maybe it wasn't true myopia for some of that. And maybe, there's all these reasons why, maybe it just improved. And he said, but you still have to wear glasses at -5. So what's the difference? What's the benefit? And she said, well, wouldn't a -5 diopter eye be less prone to detached retina minus 7.5 eye. And he said, well, I would think so, but oh, whoops. I haven't read anything that definitively about that, so I can't really say for sure. But because the eyeball will be stretched more with the myopic eye. And then um, basically, he just didn't understand, what the benefit was of improving the vision. And she said, well, I'm just beginning, I'm going to bring it back to 2020. And that was, to me, it was really important to have my vision back because, you know, uh, I just want my body to work if it can. I'm very holistic in that way. But in this case with that client, um, he he measured her vision and obviously was better. But he said, well, what does she have you doing? What kind of exercises is this woman having you do? And she said, oh, I'm doing some shifting and movement. And she started to explain some things. He said, and focusing my attention in this way and that, and noticing the peripheral vision and the central vision this way. And he said, well, that's cognitive. She said, well, how much of vision is cognitive? And he said, about 90%. Whoops. He said, whoa, whoops. So anyway, it is, and that's basically understand. The way you can understand this for yourself really simply is if you close your eyes and lightly touch your eyelids. And if you've done my little free intro course, you've done this little exercise, hopefully. Just lightly touch your eyelids so you can feel what your eyeballs are doing. And then imagine standing alongside a curb on a busy street and cars just whizzing by in front of you really rapidly. Or looking at a tree that's blowing in the wind. Or draw a letter in your mind, trace a letter. Do you feel your eyes move when you do that? Yeah? Yeah? Why do the eyes move? They're not seeing anything. Well, you see, the eyes follow the mind, right? So when the mind thinks of detail, the eyes move to see it. That's what stimulates where the eye is going to focus. It's where the mental attention is at that moment. That is basic. Your eyes will focus where your mind is. So if you can't see far away easily, like a nearsighted child in school, a child at school looking at the board, straining to try to bring information in, it's like, oh, I don't know about that. Let me bring it in here so I can see it. They're looking far, but mentally they're trying to focus for close up. So they're trying to pull the world in to see it instead of letting it stay out there and seeing it from a distance. So the eyes are focusing where the mind is actually focused. Then they can't see far away clearly because they're not actually looking far away mentally. So that you have to teach the person how to bring the attention back out again. Somebody's looking close, but mentally they're pushing things away to see them. You're looking close, but the attention is focused farther away. So then you can't see close up because you're focusing, your eyes are going to focus where your mind is. Let me show you physically what's happening with that. I'm going to share a screen. There's two muscles that belt the eye around the middle, one on the top and one on the bottom. And when they squeeze, they put the eye in an elongated shape. These four muscles will contract, and they flatten the eye a bit, so that the focal distance from the front to the back of the eye is shorter for seeing far away and longer for seeing close up. So this is close focus, this is far focus. And these muscles are constantly changing the shape of the eye in order to adjust focus. If you look at all of them together, there's these 6 muscles here. The 2 that belt the eye this way contract to elongate the eye, and then these 4 muscles will contract to flatten the eye. What tells a muscle to contract? Because a muscle can't decide to contract by itself. It has to have an impulse. And it's when the nerves give it an impulse to contract, the nerves are controlled. In this case, what's giving the nerves that impulse is where the attention is, because the eyes are going to focus where the attention is. So as soon as the attention comes in close, the eyes are going to elongate into this shape, but these muscles are going to tighten up. As soon as the attention goes into the distance, these muscles are going to tighten to flatten the eye in the distance. So if you walk in to see a doctor, and you're habitually staying in a close focus, they'll put a lens in front of your eye, and with your eye focusing close, you can see far away through that lens. You have to keep your eye in your close focus to see through the lens. You cannot have your eye focusing in this shape and see through that lens. It won't work. So the glasses lock in the strain and make you stay in that shape continuously. Like a child in school might strain on the board at school, but he might go out at recess or something and not strain, and his eyes might go right back into normal at that moment. But if he's wearing glasses, he's going to have to keep the eye in that shape to see through it. If you're having trouble seeing close up, your eyes are staying in a far focus, you can look through a lens, and its right shape lens will bend the light rays and put the light into a focus back in the back of the retina for when you're looking close up. So you can put reading glasses on and see far and read with that lens, but you have to keep your eye in a far focus to do that. If you put the lens on anybody with normal sight, they have to put the eyeball in that shape to see through it. So that's all the lens can do, is magnify or shrink. They're either concave or convex lenses. They magnify or shrink, and that are going to make the image bigger or smaller to compensate for the mind blowing things up to try to see them closer, or pushing things away to try to see them in the distance, which makes them look smaller. So the glasses compensate for what the mind is doing. They lock in the strain and keep it in that shape. So if you have astigmatism, you have an unequal tension on the muscles. So in a nearsighted eye, you would have the eye staying more or less in this shape at a close focus. In a farsighted eye, you have the eye staying more in a far focus. But in an astigmatic eye, you might have one muscle tighter than the rest, or two muscles at odd angles tighter than the rest. So where is in this case, the mind is staying in a close focus. In this case, the mind is staying in a far focus. Where's the mind focus if this muscle's tighter or this muscle's tighter than all the others? Where's the mind focused here? There's confusion, right? There's confusion where your focus is. So behind astigmatism is a confusion about the focus. Am I focused here or here? Yes. Trying to focus more than one place at a time, you get an unequal tension on the muscles, because the eyeball is trying to focus, or the muscles that focus the eye is trying to focus the eye where your mind's attention is. And if your attention is split in more than one place, your eye is trying to accommodate for that and focus where your mind is. And so you get a lopsided shaped eye from the unequal tension on the muscles. It's pulling the eye in a lopsided shape. So behind every type of vision problem is a different type of mental strain. The strain with myopia is a strain to try to pull, to straining on far away things, straining to try to pull the far things in close. The strain with presbyopia or hypermetropia, farsightedness, is a strain to push things away, to see them. You're looking close, and that's stressful, so you're trying to push it out. Your focus is farther away. And the strain with astigmatism is a sort of a confusion where the focus is. Behind cataract is a different type of strain. Behind glaucoma is a different type of mental strain. You can look at the physiology of the eye and back it up to see what the mind is actually doing.